Hey guys, what's going on this morning? So we're back at the shop today, do some more testing on the second gen. So today is going to be Quadzilla day, 3K box. I might try the 4K box even though it wasn't working before, just maybe it fixed itself from sitting. But I got a bunch of custom tunes, so we're going to pull the comp out, the comp 2.0, and try some Quadzilla tunes. All right, quad is in. Just kind of temporarily ran. You guys have seen me pull it in and out numerous times, so let's get the truck warmed up and Alright guys, that was our first riff with one of the custom Quadzilla tunes. So did 719, 1306. That's pretty good for one of the quad tunes. You can see, this is kind of what I noticed about the quad, is it starts to break up a bunch up here, whereas the edge doesn't. I'm gonna overlay the edge, my highest level, and level 5 after we do these quad tunes. But yeah, that's our first tune. Alright guys, that was our next custom tune. Did 691, 1309. Moving on to the next one. Alright guys, that one did 664, 1275. So that's 3 runs, so I'll probably let the truck cool down a little bit and then we'll do some more testing. Alright guys, so some more custom tunes. These 3 were done by the same guy. We got another guy here. Haven't decided if I'm going to name names yet, but 716, 1318, that's a pretty good tune. But like I say, still up top, Quadzilla gets all wonky compared to the comp. Alright guys, so these are my top 3 quad custom tunes, and these were all run at the max level. So we could run them at a lower level and see if that makes power too. I have way too many tunes to do that to all of them, but these tunes I think we can do it with and just kind of see. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the overlay for the edge, and we're going to kind of pay attention to this area right here and see how it is. So I have my 3 highest quad tunes up and my 2 highest comp tunes. So this light green right here, this was my highest quad 3K tune as well before. This dark green right here, you can always tell by this area where it carries the power out, is level 5 on the comp. What's interesting about these 2 tunes right here for the quad 3K is it carrying the power out. It's compared to this right here, highest tune on the edge was level 4, and it starts to fall off in this area right here. That's kind of interesting data. So a bit easier to see. I know I had a lot of lines up there, so red and blue, there weren't our highest tunes on the quad, but they were the ones that carried the power out further. The green is our highest tune on the comp. You can see it falls off, but has a bit more peak to it. And now I'm going to take away level 4 on the comp and add level 5, which is the one that carried the power out here. So this is the thing I find the most interesting about the comp 2.0, and it's been like this for all my tests, is this area here where we're getting up to the limiter and run it at a fuel, the comp is continuing to carry the power. And you just know that's gonna make a huge difference at the track. Now these two Quadzilla tunes are pretty good. I don't know what you would do, I'm not a tuner, to make up in that area for what the edge does. So now what I have up here is our highest 3K tune and level 5 on the edge. Actually, pretty nice torque curve here for the 3K. And it actually carries the power pretty good. It's just, you know, in this RPM right here, the quad can't compete, it seems like. I have reached out to some of the guys that did the tunes, and we're gonna kind of see if we can pick up in that area. But for a super aggressive tune on the 3K, because it was very aggressive, not good drivability, but made a good number, obviously. It's pretty decent, you know, if you compare the two graphs. The edge is always so smooth is the thing, you know, and I'm not like an edge fanboy or a Quadzilla fanboy. I'm just bringing you guys the information. So the last graph I have up here is our highest edge and our highest 3K runs. You can actually see the 3K runs out further here than the edge compared to the edge on level 5 carrying the power up there. It's all pretty cool data. Alright, so that's pretty interesting. One of the tuners said to turn the tune down, and it definitely made more power. So this is our 719 tune at max. This is the same tune at level 3. It made 731. And then this is the same tune on level 4. It made 731, but about 30 more foot-pounds of torque. So that's pretty cool. We're gonna try that with some of the other So this is one of our other custom tunes that made 716 before. On level 3, then it made 735, and on level 4 it made 727. It's pretty cool to see how if you turn them down, you're actually making more power, kind of the less is more philosophy. Alright guys, making a few more runs. Pretty cool, just adjusting something with the tunes here. Got up to 740 horsepower, 1,332 foot-pounds of torque. Then we increased it a little bit more, lost some power, so we're gonna go back to our changes on this tune, and then we'll see what it makes. Alright guys, well that's gonna kind of wrap up Quadzilla tuning, at least for today. Made quite a few runs, but we can go over the top here. So this 731 1309 I always like to refer to as my secret tune, because the guy who tuned it, basically you don't even know that he has a Quadzilla or knows anything about them. This 736 1352 was done by Corey Jensky. I think that's how you say his last name. That was just out of the box, no adjustments made. And then my highest tune was done by TJ Frey at One Bad VP44. It did 740 1332, and that was pretty cool. We were talking and we made some adjustments to the tune. You know, tried his tunes on different levels within the tune, started to pick up power, made some changes that lost power, and then ultimately decided on this tune. And it was just kind of cool to be a part of the changes and see what kind of changes he's making in the tune. All right, so the last thing I've pulled up here is just our highest quad tune versus the highest comp tune, and not necessarily the highest comp tune, but the one that carried the power the furthest. So the red here is our 3K box tune. The green was our highest tune on the comp. But you can see the quad actually carried the power further, which is pretty cool. Usually don't see that. And then this is the comp on level 5. You can see that big carry up top. And if I switch this, we can actually see the RPM difference here. So let's see, the comp makes peak power just over 3,000. The quad just very slightly below. But in this area right here, you can see where the quad starts to fall off about 3,400 RPM, and the comp carries it right, I guess, slightly past 36. Honestly, don't know if that's a valve float or a limiter. I don't have valve springs or push rods. It's one thing I think is very cool about this truck. It's a completely stock engine with head studs, and we're making 740 on a single 64 with a VP truck. Pretty cool, but this is always gonna be my selling feature about the Edge. You're gonna feel this when you're racing. So I'm definitely not anti-quad. I think they do a lot of really cool things. I love how in the app you can monitor stuff, you can data log. Like, the only way I'm able to do that with an Edge is by having the insight here. You know, the app is just for changing levels, but that's what the data says. But yeah, pretty pleased with that. I mean, obviously the big test is gonna be comparing them at the track or with the draggy or whatever. Dyno's kind of just for fun, just for doing what me and TJ were doing, which is changing some stuff in the tunes and seeing how they work out. But yeah, it's pretty cool testing. So I guess now I kind of need to decide what to do next. I have the stock line test that I really want to do, because I have this number that I'm trying to beat on our board. So at our dyno day, the highest small single made 758. That's kind of what I'm trying to beat with this truck, because, you know, it's a VP truck. So if you have a common rail and you get beat by a VP, like, it's hilarious. So that is supposed to pick up, you know, anywhere between 15, 20 horsepower from what some of the guys have told me. So I'd like to do that. The other things is, like, I have a few turbos to test. I have the steed speed to put on, but then I also have bigger injectors and I also have the monster pump to put on. So I'm kind of on the fence about what to do first. I mean, I know if I make a poll, every single person is just going to want to see the monster pump. I mean, I want to see the monster pump. It's the whole reason I bought a VP truck and paid an insane amount of money to get a monster pump, like, because I want to see what it does, you know. The Scheid pump is obviously working well, and, you know, with a set of compounds on it, like, I'm sure it would be able to make over 900, but I know everyone wants to see the monster pump versus the Scheid pump, and so do I, but I don't want to rush getting there either. But anyway, you know, thanks for watching, guys. I love bringing the VP content, so like, comment, subscribe, and we can keep this channel going. See ya.